Welcome back to We're Learning here, and this is a video for fellow teachers or educators who are looking for tips and tricks on how to close your Google Classroom. To archive your Google Classroom, you're going to click on the three dots from your main Google Classroom page. But before you do that, you're going to want to do a few things first to clean up and prepare it before you do that. This is the classroom we are going to archive. It's my first grade classroom I used this year during the distant learning for the COVID-19 crisis. Tip number 1 is to return all student work. If you were not returning your students' work during this time and you were just grading it and holding on to it, you're going to want to return it all. Here's why. It gives the ownership back to the students. If you don't return it, the students will only have view access of their work, and they will not get to see any comments you put on it that will help them understand what they may have done wrong, what they can do better on, and they won't get to see any of their grades or their scores, and neither will their grown-ups at home. We're going to look at 2 ways that you can return student work quickly from the grade tab and the to-do list. The first way to return student work really fast, and this is if you just haven't been returning work throughout this time that we've been using Google Classroom and you just want to get it all returned really fast so you can archive your classroom, is in the grade tab. Each grade column that Google Classroom created has these 3 dots. And you're going to click on it and go to Return All. And it will return every assignment in the column back to the students. The next way you can return work to students is by going to your classes and your to-do list. Once you have your to-do list, you're going to want to scroll down and make sure that the list shows all zeros for the turned in column. As I scroll down, I see that I still had 1 assignment here I still needed to return before I could archive this class. So I clicked on it, opened it up, gave my students the points. So we need to open it, check it, and grade it. This is the end of the year. It's a last-minute assignment that a student turned in. So I'm going to open it up, I'm going to check it, I'm going to grade it. It's late, it's been missing, so we're just going to give it a real quick once over, give them a comment, and then I'm going to click Return. I'm going to click Return again. Now remember, as you're using Google Classroom, it is ultimately best to return student work each week. Waiting until the end of the semester or the year will be frustrating because you will have a lot of work to return at one time. Tip number 2 is to hide or delete the classes that you are archiving in your Google Calendar. And that just cleans up your calendar list. So let's go look at our Google Calendar. Even if you didn't use the calendar, Google automatically set it up for you. So let's take a look at our Google Calendar here. And the list of our calendars is over here. So we're going to click on Mrs. Sexton's first grade classroom and we're going to see our 3 dots right here. You have 2 choices, hide, or we're going to go to settings and delete. Some people might just choose to hide it, or you might want to go to settings and delete. I choose to delete it. Once I go to settings, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and click delete. Tip number 3 is to organize your drive, mainly just your classroom folder. Now, if your drive is messy just from working in Google Classroom, you can organize that at any time. You do not have to organize that before you archive your classroom, so you can do that at any time. But your classroom folder, now's a perfect time to organize that before you archive your classroom. Why do we do this? It just is helpful for if you're going to be using the Google Classroom year after year. Neatness will help you out as you're moving forward. To organize that, we're going to go to our 9 dots here, or some people call it the waffle, and then click on Drive. This is what my drive looks like. Now we're going to look at this classroom folder. Google created this for me when I made my classroom. We're going to open it up. Now, when I adjusted this, first of all, let me explain that Google did not put this little emoji there. I did that so that I knew never to delete this folder. I'm going to open that up, and here is my classroom folder. These are all folders I have for different classrooms. This is the class that we're archiving. This up here is our row of breadcrumbs. If I clicked here, it would go back to my drive. This is my classroom folder. If I open my classroom folder, this is what I see. Now, some of you may never have opened your classroom folder because you had no reason to. You didn't even know what was in it. Since Google made it for you, you should never delete it. Okay. What you will find in here, if you clicked on one of these, you would find every copy of students' work for that assignment. You may never need to look in this folder, but you never know when a student will present you with a situation where you will need to hunt down their work. This is also where you can see students working without being in the classroom, and you can see them working on things in real time. So if you open up a Google document that's one of your students, you will be able to see them typing in real time. I'm going to create a new folder by right-clicking, and I'm going to title my new folder. You can choose to create a new folder and title it whatever you want. Archived folder, archived classes. You can add an emoji to it. You don't have to. I chose archived classes, and I also changed its color to a brown, and I put the no symbol next to it so I know never to delete that. Then I'm going to drag and drop. I'm going to drag the class that I'm archiving into the archived classes folder. So I'm going to move Mrs. Sexton's first grade folder into my archived classes. Now the last tip that we need to do is our student list. There's a big question, to remove or not. I choose not. I don't want to remove my students from my Google Classroom, and here's why. I want to still be able to access any of the work they turned into me so that maybe I can use it as an example down the road for something, for a tutorial for other students, or maybe I'm going to have a parent or an adult come back and question a grade that I gave a student, or say, hey, my child says they turned this in, and I can go back to an archived class and go, I don't have it, and I will have the evidence to back that up. So I choose not to remove students from my Google Classroom. If you remove students from your classroom, you will remove all of the evidence that you have collected, any of the grades you've taken, any of the comments you've made on their work. That will no longer be in your ownership. If you want to remove students, you're going to go to the People tab. You're going to click on the check mark, highlight them all, and then click Remove. And now you're ready to archive. You've made it. Once your class is archived, you will be able to reuse posts from your archived class. Everything you created will still be in your drive for you to make edits to, adjust for future classes, and archiving will keep students from entering your Google Classroom when you are not monitoring it. It's the best way. It's like shutting your classroom door at the end of the year. So it's keeping students from going back into that Google Classroom when you're not there every day looking at things. And now once your class is archived, it will be time to just sit back and enjoy. So let's go back and hit those 3 dots and archive our class. So back on our main Google Classroom page, I have my Google classes here that I haven't yet archived. My first one there is my first grade class. I'm going to click on those 3 dots. It's going to show up. I have some options: move, edit, copy, or archive. I'm going to click archive, and my class will then show up on my archived classes list. And you're done. School's out, you shut the door. Your class is closed. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.